Minute 30 left before I got kicked. Yeah.
You all got an organ donor card? You should get one. And tick all them boxes, except for liver
Wappa.
and lungs.
The Koopa
You
Wappa.
won't get much use out of them.
And don't forget to include y'all's audio for our audio friends. Nice. Okay.
My first
Pull
man
up the
wrote a chapter.
document. Because
And I
as you can
suppose
see,
my
we are
last
so
one
prepared
was
for these.
None of them flew one.
Go to my channel. Alright, doing a quick audio check.
Audio check. 1, 2.
No, audio check 1, 2.
We had so many biker gangs, biker chapters, motorcycle clubs around these parts, I can't keep up. You all look the
You guys
same
are
to
coming
me.
through? Sweet.
Good deal.
Alright. Guess now's a good time to get into it.
Yes, sir.
So, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Wolves Den podcast.
Yeah, today's episode is the pack gets to unpack E3. I know we talked about E3 a little bit last episode, but now that we've had some more time to
Now I see my
do more research and get more information out from the companies about these games, I think that we can finally get a decent conversation out of the information that we have.
Yeah.
So, how's everybody doing
yeah.
this morning?
Man, you know,
I'm good.
I had a long night. Running 3 hours of sleep. Just one of them days, you know. But
Ready to fight God or become him?
yeah. Sick of being pregnant.
Still pregnant.
Yep, still pregnant there, buddy.
Sometimes I think about
Yeah, I slept like
I,
shit last night. However,
sitting in bars drinking
I
beer anyway.
got a good
At least I
and
didn't
good
snort a
cup of coffee.
fly.
Yeah,
Hey,
so for everybody who's
And Matt left.
listening to the podcast. Oh, I got kicked for being idle? What the fuck? Alright, hang on. So...
It happens once an episode. Someone gets kicked. We got a trend going.
Oh
Here
my
we
god.
go.
Here we fucking go. Anyhow, so this morning when I woke up, I rolled over and I had like the sniffles, so I had like my nose was all sorts of clogged and stuff, so I snorted real fucking hard just to kind of like try and breathe. And my stupid ass did not see, hear, or notice the fly that was right in front of my fucking face. So I snorted the nasal passage, then cleared. The fly ended up stuck in the vacuum, and now I'm pretty sure he's buzzing around in my lungs somewhere. I don't fucking know. He might be dead. I know he's stoned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, anyhow.
So yeah, my night was 3 hours of sleep, like yours,
Sorry about
but
that, guys.
I did not snort a fly.
I'm running on about 3 hours of sleep too, so I think that in total it's like, what,
9 hours between the three of
roughly
us.
about 9 hours, yeah.
Yeah, this is just, Arctic bullshit, guys. Get used to it.
Yeah. We're a fucking wreck, we know.
I got home from work. Yeah, it's weird. I got home from work and I got on Netflix and I watched some shows that were on there that I've been wanting to watch, and then I delved into the new Bo Burnham special.
Oh,
So,
yeah, you watched
was-
Inside.
Yeah.
Hell yes. What'd you think?
Holy shit, man.
So
it got real.
So existential.
It got real.
It just made you want to
definitely-
cry most of the special.
Yeah, like one of the
Fuck this clubhouse.
the part that was like crazy for me watching it was not necessarily the little bits he would do, but just how like, I mean, like some of the bits, yeah, got to me, but the part where like when it would just cut to him watching his own footage and he just had that look,
Right.
and I'm like, oh man, I have been there. Like when I started making content, that was
the
me.
Bit
all the
right
time.
before turning 30. I wanted to cry
Yeah.
for him. Like, that
Yeah,
bit
it's just-
made me so sad. Although the
Like,
2030 I'll be 40 and kill myself then was fucking hysterical.
yeah, I definitely, if you guys are just now tuning in, we were talking about the new Bo Burnham podcast. If you guys are, wanting to watch it, I will say that it does hit on some pretty real stuff that a lot of people face during the this whole pandemic that we've had going on. So if you are gonna watch it, you know,
Just be weary.
it does, yeah, it
Weary
does
that
get
fact.
real fast, and definitely like if you're gonna watch it, make sure you're in a good place mentally, I should say,
Yeah.
because like I said, there are some things that come up in it that I know a lot of people, including myself, have felt. So, you know, it's definitely a good special. It's very surreal, but yeah, it's just it's be wary of that, and yeah. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought it was very good. Like I said, I warned you before you watched it. It's just
yeah, no,
It's a lot
I
of
knew it was gonna be
sensitive topics, and
yeah.
he actually followed what the CDC suggested, and he stayed inside for all of quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's like, I can't even imagine sitting there working on that special alone in your house for the
Yeah,
entire
right?
year. Like, that's no wonder. I don't
yeah,
know.
and, like, the
I would
part-
watch it absolutely again over and over. I loved it. I thought it
Oh,
was
yeah.
great. And I listen to the songs from the special in my car all the time now.
Like if, and this is going back to, you know, if you're
Tell me.
not
why
in a
do I
good
always
place
get
mentally,
mixed
I would
up?
suggest probably not watching it.
Um,
Unless you really feel like just laughing at all your pain, because that's
Yeah,
what it's for.
yeah, and like yeah, because that's exactly that's what it's for. But at the same time, like, and yeah, I laughed watching it, but then like there are some parts there where I felt kind of like,
Oh yeah, I definitely. The first time I watched it, my breathing shallowed, and I had to
Oh, yeah.
not think on
like
it
that
too bad.
whole that whole back half of it was kind of where
I'm sorry, but it
it's-
started when Sako came out.
well, yeah, like I'm just saying, like it got
You don't
real
gotta
for
think to
me,
have a good
like
time,
as it went
but
on,
it sure helps you forget the bad
especially
ones.
like
That
because not necessarily like
Mental
some of the
illness.
material, yeah, like he did was it kind of, I guess you could say, like triggered some responses from me and stuff, but just the behind the scenes stuff that he would show,
Oh my
that's
God.
what was getting to me more.
Yeah.
Like the part where he's trying to like edit something or get it set up right, and he just gets super frustrated and starts like slamming stuff around.
Yep. Same.
I felt that
Same.
on like a freaking
Real
spiritual
level.
level. I was just, yeah, I was like,
My
that's
soul felt that.
Spare controller.
yeah, that's
For those of you guys
That's-
who don't know, Mortal Kombat keeps a spare controller on his by
I do
so he
too
can
now.
break that one instead of his good one.
And I do too,
it's only if I play Warzone or something like that, which I don't play much anymore.
right?
Yeah, fuck that game.
But yeah, no, it was very, just a very surreal thing. If I had watched it, like, back in like January, like if it was out then, there would not be a podcast today. Like I would be,
Yeah.
like, I would be in like a totally different like
Dark place.
mental state and everything, and yeah, it was. So, yeah, it was again very good very good special.
Great
You know,
music.
if you, yeah, great music. Again, just be warned, it does get real. So,
Won't get much use out of them.
yeah, just a heads up. Other than that, I definitely recommend it.
The Jeffrey Bezos music is like quality content. Top tier.
All right. So, yes, so my wife just pointed out and realized that there's drugs on the table, and yes, Jenny, there is. There's blue bags of meth. There is piles of cocaine, sacks of cash. We are in a real deal bikers club.
It's a video game. I don't think it really matters.
Exactly.
Alright. So
There's bongs, comical amounts of whiskey and alcohol. You know how it is.
yes, sir. Alright, so
My first
let's go ahead and
chopper.
kick the podcast off.
And I suppose my last one will too.
So we've got some
Son of a
great
blue.
news along with starting the unpack of E3, and that's that myself and Random 420 Savior have started a new Civilization 6 series. Right now
Yes,
it's
sir.
only going to be uploaded to Twitch, but once I get my editing software back up and running and I get my computer all set up again, then we'll start uploading back to YouTube. I just haven't had time to do it yet. So
Handlebar
right now we're
mustache.
just kind of we're working out a lot
Sorry.
of kinks. We're working out a lot of the kinks with like the
We had so many
multiplayer
biker gangs, biker
because
chapters,
we're dealing with a lot of
motorcycle clubs around
kicking
these parts I
issues
can't
when
keep
we
up.
stream.
You all look the same to me.
Yes.
So
And it's weird,
It's
it's
just
only
kinda-
happening while we're streaming, for the most part. There is issues
Yeah.
like, say
Every
my
now and
internet
then-
has a shit moment,
yeah,
it'll kick me from the game, and then whenever I join back in, like every 2 to 3 turns, because it's a turn-based game, it'll just pull me out of the game, put me back in the loading screen, and throw me back in, which just, this is a long enough game as it is, and when that's happening, you're talking
It
about
adds
adding an
another
extra
2
hour
minutes.
or 2.
yeah, it adds an extra
the
2 minutes
game.
every time you go through that loading screen, and it happens every 2 or 3 turns. So it's just really.
Whoa, sorry.
Go ahead.
Ah, what's up?
I was gonna say, what was happening to you, Richard? Like, what was
Well,
it, like
so
a week or
what-
2 ago,
Well,
where
that's
it was
what we're
like
talking
every.
about.
Yeah,
It's like every
like
2
Yeah.
or 3 turns.
Every 2
Well, yeah, I was
turns.
just trying to preface, yeah, like it was just that time was adding up so much, just
Yeah.
because it was like
It added
every-
about 2.5 hours
Yeah.
to our game, and a game that we would have been able to finish around 1 a.m. my time. We ended up just saving it at like 3:30, 4 a.m. my time, Matt. Correct?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 in the morning by the time I got done.
Yeah, and like it's just it added so much, and you know we're
And we
we're
didn't even
gamers
get-
here. It's
We
one of those
weren't
things where
late.
it's like I'm gonna grin and bear it. We're in this for the long haul, and
Yep.
yeah, it was just maddening. But
It's one of those games that it's like, yeah, it only should have taken 3 or 4 hours to complete because it was a small map. It was just me, him, and 2 other civilizations, and we were going for a scientific victory. Like, we should have been done in less than 300 turns, and we were at turn like 220 by 5 a.m.
yeah, out
It
of
was
a
fucking
500 turn game,
stupid. We barely made it
so
halfway.
it was just one of those things where it's like, you know, they've got some issues to work out as far as like the multiplayer aspect and keeping everybody. I can't imagine what it would be like with 4 or 5 people playing together.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I don't know necessarily. It might be server side because I don't think it's a lag thing. I don't think we never really experience issues with like too
When I'm
much shit
on
happening
single
at
player-
once.
When I'm on single player, I experience 0 issues.
Same. Like I said, I think it's just their servers have an issue with keeping hosts and party members connected.
Right.
Yeah, I could see like a number of issues probably like adding to that. Like map size is probably one of them.
See, but that's
'cause
not
you have to like
that. It really doesn't make a difference. We've played on the tiniest maps and we've
Yep.
played on the biggest maps.
Yep. We've
Well, I'm just saying like when you move to like a new spot, it discovers that area, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like we've had games where we've discovered the entire map almost of both tiny and the huge maps, and
But it sure helps you
we get
forget the
kicked
bad.
eventually all the same.
That
once you discover globalization, it unlocks the entire map.
Yeah.
And we've had issues beyond that. So I don't think necessarily it's like a rendering thing.
Like I said, I don't think it's the game rendering and then causing lag that kicks us. I think it's just the server connection to the host
Yeah.
and the other clients involved.
But besides the point of having these little bugs and whatnot, it is a fun game and we are doing a series on it.
Yeah, we're going to push through that regardless. It's just something that we're trying to work through, and we're asking for a little bit of patience while we try and figure out how to work around it or how to fix it. One of the two.
All right, gentlemen.
I ever tell you about the
Rainbow
time I found
Six
an ounce of battery
Extraction.
acid thinking it was paint thinner? Still might be
Let's go ahead and
I'm,
dive into this. I'm excited to talk about this.
So I just watched the E3 release trailer and then the secondary trailer that was released to YouTube from them. I gotta say, like,
Man.
it's the Dead Space vibe that I got from it, from like the mutants. I'm so excited for this, and it's supposed to be like a PvE game too. So I don't know. I'm just like,
Yeah, so oh sorry,
it's
go ahead.
supposed to be like
So
I
what
don't-
it stems off is I want to say a couple years ago during Rainbow Six's opera they did, there was an event that I forget what it was called, but basically like, and it is aliens essentially, like space piece or whatever crashes on it, and it causes like this whole
We should
like
stand up and
outbreak that happens.
stretch.
It's kind of like
Don't wanna
it's
get
kind of
kicked.
like an alien outbreak thing that happens in like this town. So it started off as an event where it was I think 3-player teams would go in, and it had like a small story to it where like you go find these people and like a couple operators I think, and then it was an LTO, so it ended after a certain amount of time, and people were like, that mode was fun. You know, we want to keep that going, and I don't know if the developers, because I didn't get a chance to play it, so I don't know 100%. I had a buddy who played it. He loved it. He's like, that was fun. It was a nice change of pace from just the constant PvP aspect.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, 'cause
yeah, now
Rainbow
you-
Six has always been PvP, correct?
yeah.
Like, I don't
Rainbow Six
ever
Siege has.
remember playing a Rainbow Six game that it's teams versus an environment like a zombie style game.
No.
At least not like multiplayer teams. I think it's always been like a
Yeah.
single player.
Yeah, it's always been single player.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. Like, you know, kind of like on
Yeah.
Call of Duty Zombies. All of us go in, like Outbreak or something
They all
like
look the
that.
same to me.
Well, the thing that
I think that would be
kind
cool
of,
for Rainbow Six because, fucking hell, man, that's such a different style of gameplay. I mean, anybody that plays Call of Duty that tries to play Rainbow Six, not the first word that comes to your mind is frustration. So there's a massive learning curve, but once you learn that shit, man, it's so much fun.
So the thing that I don't understand is I was doing a little bit of research last night, and it said that it's using the Anvil Next Gen 2 for the engine, like the game engine. But then when I went to go do research on it to see what other games Ubisoft had used through that engine, it says that they're using the Ubisoft Anvil
I
engine
used to ride too, you know.
on Rainbow Six Extraction.
Now I save my cowgirl for the bedroom.
So I'm
Uh,
not sure which one they're using.
yeah,
Because they
that-
use
I'm
the
not-
Anvil, their Ubisoft Anvil engine's been used on Valhalla, the new Prince of Persia remake, and Immortals Phoenix Rising, and then Rainbow Six Extraction. But the Next Gen 2 was on Assassin's Creed Unity, Syndicate, Rainbow Six Siege, Steep, For Honor, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, Breakpoint, and Hyperscape.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh no. It
Yeah,
looks
I-
like a good engine from what I've seen, but there's just not much info on it.
Sometimes I think about retiring.
Yeah,
But if I
it's.
did, I'd
I
probably
don't know.
be sitting in bars
Lost
drinking
Richard.
beer and
Yeah, we've got some
We'll get
technical
paid for it.
difficulties. I think his internet probably cut out on him. We'll get him back in party as soon as we can, though. Anyhow, we'll go ahead and continue with the podcast.
But yeah, no. I'm not super up to date on like what engines like Ubisoft uses. If
I'm not either.
I am familiar with the Anvil.
Oh, there he is. I'm not either. However, I do like to learn as much as I can about the video games that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rainbow Six Extraction. As soon as I heard that it's going to be a PvE multiplayer,
Why
I
do
just
always
got
get mixed up with jail work?
immediately
Probably 'cause the state will
head
cut off
first
my
into
hands
it.
3 months a year.
And it's cool too because I think they said they're gonna do like what I think like Call of Duty and all that does, where the progression on that game tracks with the progression on Siege.
Yeah, I
Um,
did read something about that last night when I was doing some more research on it. I want to say it was through Game Informer, but I don't remember. I don't have the link anymore. I will say I'm excited that that we have a release date on it.
Yeah.
Now hopefully they'll stick to it. Did they stick to the release date for Siege?
You don't gotta drink
I
time,
think so.
but it sure helps you forget the bad ones.
I know it came out, I think, like December
Mental illness.
of like 20. Hang on, I can check here.
Because I know Rainbow Six Extraction comes out September 16th of 2021, which at least that's what they say. And that's right around the corner, so I'm kind of hopeful that they're not going to miss it.
Yeah,
Richard, are
it
you
came
back?
out December 1st, 2015.
Okay, December 1st, 2015. Was that the original release date, though?
Initial release date was April 7th. So it looks like it got
I
pushed
ever tell you about the
to
time I downed an ounce of battery acid
a couple,
thinking
like
it
just
was
a few more
dinner?
months.
Still might be
But
dripping
I mean,
for all
it's
I
it's
know.
better than a year.
Well,
a year
the
delay,
only
which
thing that I can
mean,
think of is that maybe they won't miss it because they announced it at E3, and it's really not that far away from September.
and it's something they've been working on even before E3 too.
Yeah, it's just
this has
that
been
they gave us a
something in the
release
works
date.
for. Yeah,
So I'm like,
so I'm hoping
that's why I'm
with-
thinking maybe maybe they won't miss it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Ubisoft is, for the most part, from my knowledge, pretty good about releasing stuff on time or around there. Even if like they do have to delay, it's only like a couple months.
Yeah.
Which I'd much rather if a game is not
Ready.
100% ready to release, push it back.
Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat.
Because I just, yeah, like Cyberpunk is a perfect example. CD Projekt Red, love them. I love the Witcher game, or like the games and everything, but Cyberpunk was just awful on release. Just awful.
Garbage.
And like I get like you want to make the consumer happy and everything. And I know a bunch of people were like getting pissed because the release date kept getting pushed back. And I know a lot of that too is also like shareholder pressure, and also like, you know, the developers are just like, or not the developers. I guess it would be like the, what'd you call it, developers, shareholders? Anyway, they're like, all right, you know, we've pushed it back long enough. We need to release this, like, send it essentially. So it sucks. Anthem was the same way. And Anthem's a whole other ball game of issues, but
yeah, I liked
just
Anthem, but it was just a broken game, so I stopped playing pretty early on.
Well, they're supposed to come out with the Anthem 2.0, where it's basically like completely like overhaul the game, but they're like, nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anthem is dead in the water as it stands, but it sucks because, you know, I do know they wanted to make the game as best as they can. They just got to a point though where they had to push it out, and it sucks. But I mean, yeah, it's just it's hard. I feel for developers because I know they are super passionate about their games and they want to make the best thing possible, especially with all the stuff they had shown in Cyberpunk.
They're craftsmen. They just want to be able to do their job, and they get hung up from doing their job through all the
I used to ride too, you know.
business, political antics that have to happen.
Yeah. It is definitely not a good spot to get put in, for sure.
Speaking of developers getting put in a spot that they can't develop their games in the way they want, this is a game that I didn't really even think I should mention due to the fact that the release date's so far off. However, after doing more research on it, because I love the game and I can't wait for it, I found a really cool connection that we talked about last week that made me have to talk about it this week. So, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This game doesn't come out until late 2022. We don't have a release date. That's all that they've given us. But,
if I did, I'd
so
probably be sitting in bars drinking beer anyway. May as well get paid for
yeah,
it.
like the Blue People Avatar. And
Cat Smurfs.
Cat Smurfs. The Cat Smurfs, yes. It's going to be on the latest iteration of the Snowdrop engine. I think it's the 3rd edition of Snowdrop, or 4th, I think. I may be wrong on that, but I know the previous versions of the Snowdrop engine were used on Divisions 1 and 2.
Okay.
So it's going to be latest console, like latest generation console exclusive. But I also read that it's going to be made available eventually to Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But as far as I can tell, they're making it exclusively for Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. So this will be the first new console game.
Console exclusive,
yeah,
in the sense of you have to have next gen.
Just like there's so many Xbox One games that you can't play on a 360 now.
Yeah.
But the reason I had to mention this was because I found a connection that we were talking about last week. That they are doing a collab with Lightning Storm Entertainment, and guess who?
You don't gotta drink to have a good time,
I don't know.
but it sure
Disney.
helps you forget the bad ones. That
Oh
This
my.
only nails, or fucking
Is that
pounds
the
nail into
connection you're
coffin.
talking about?
Well, yeah, that only pounds the nail into the coffin one more time that Disney's making their own gaming branch. Like they're getting
cool.
into a lot bigger game.
My I mean, I guess I have a connection for Disney too. Speaking of,
Go ahead.
so I was watching the Sea of Thieves Pirates of the Caribbean trailer the other day
Yes.
again.
I ever tell you about the time
And
I downed
every
one
time I
battery
look at
acid
Davy
ticket
Jones,
paint thinner?
he
Still might be
looks
tripping
like
for all I know.
I think it was, what is it called? I think it's Disney Infinity, that little like
Yes.
game that came out for the Wii. He looks like a port from Disney Infinity.
Yes, I totally agree, and I thought the
Every
exact
time I
same
see it, I'm just
thing
like,
the first time I saw it, I was like, "Where have I seen this from?" And now that you say Disney Infinity, that was the connection I was trying to make in my brain. But yeah, absolutely, I saw that the second I watched the trailer. Totally agree with that. And the Jack Sparrow,
I thought that
the
was
thing
funny.
that makes it funny to me is that Jack Sparrow does not look like the Disney Infinity Jack Sparrow.
No, he looks like the Sea of Thieves engine
Yeah.
You all got
character,
an
like
organ donor
model.
card?
Which makes me wonder how many other characters are they gonna add from the pirates of the Disney Infinity thing?
Well, we know we have Calypso, we know we have Davy Jones, Jack Sparrow, and Mr. Gibbs. I'm not sure. They might add, they might add more. They might add like Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann. I wouldn't be surprised if they add some version of. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on what his name was. Oh God,
My first man rode
what's
a
it
chopper,
called?
And I suppose my last
Oh
one
God,
would, too.
why can I not think of it? Is
None
the
of them flew
he
one.
was it the villain in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie?
Oh, Captain Barbossa.
Yeah, that's it. I was getting him and Norrington like confused, but at the same time I couldn't think of the freaking names. I was like, what is it? So like I could see if they like somehow, I could totally see them bringing in a version of Barbossa, whether it be like a ghost pirate version or
Yeah, totally. I could see the skeleton Captain
something
Barbossa
like
in
that.
the game.
Yeah.
You want
Or
to know
even if
what
it's like in the trailer,
I
that skull that they put
really
on the
wanna
body.
see?
What if that's like him?
I really want to see them add Dead Man's Cove, like the big ass cave island,
We had so many biker
and I
gangs,
Yeah.
want to see them add
motorcycle clubs around these
what's his
parts I
fucking
can't
name?
keep up. You all look the same to
The
me.
Spanish captain from Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh. No Country for Old Men, you mean?
Huh?
Oh, no, I know what you mean. Sorry, the actor. The actor, sorry. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of the actor. What is his name?
But you know who I'm talking about. and
Also-
so does the audience. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so it was him. I want him to be like on a ghost ship in that fucking like the island cave. And I want it to be like a trap, so you have to fight
I
the
used to
ship
ride Junior
inside of
all
the
the time.
island,
Now I say
like tight quarters.
bedroom.
And then you have to also worry about like his pirates coming to board your ship and stuff like that. Like I want it to be a experience with PvE. Like if you ran up on a hiding in that cove, I want the pirates to come after you and try and kill you on your ship and stuff like that. Like I think
Right?
that would
It'd be so
sick.
cool.
You just have to survive
Even
for
if-
a certain amount of time, or you have to do something specific while you're in there to get out and turn the.
Yeah. Cool, like if they like along those lines, we have like solve puzzles or something like on the actual
Yeah.
like island or whatever, and while they do ship or whatever, or something like that,
Or,
or
like,
even if
say-
like
Say you're a single player on a sloop, you could have like an AI character with your crew, or even with a 4-man crew, you have that AI character with your crew, and you have to survive on your ship alone while you watch the AI character go up into the cave and grab something and bring it back to open the door. Even
Well, it
something
looks
as simple
like,
as that.
From what they say, Jack Sparrow is gonna actually. It sounds like he's gonna be joining the crew on those adventures.
Yeah, which
'cause
is
I
kind
think
of
it's
what
like
I'm thinking
2 or 3.
along the lines of something like that.
Tell me,
So, like, if
So-
Jack had
probably 'cause the state will take
like
him off
were to
my
come in
hands
there
pretty
with
much
you,
a
he
year.
would tell you the story of
Funny.
whatever his fucking name is.
Armando Salazar,
Salazar, Captain Salazar, yeah. Thank you for looking that up. But he
Captain
would
Salamander.
Captain Salamander. He would like tell you the story of Captain Salamander as you're going in there and shit. And then you would have to fight him and his crew while Jack goes in and grabs some fucking special key thing to get us back out of there because we didn't know he was actually in there.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool too. Like, I'm thinking of the whole like boarding action stuff. I think that would be cool. Just a feature just to add in the game, like if you fight like a skeleton galleon or whatever. Like, if like once that ship gets in like cannon range, you just see the cannons go off and you see skeletons getting yeeted onto your ship. I think that would be so cool.
I totally agree.
Or like if you could do a thing where like if you're going against like another crew or whatever, if you get close enough, like you can use like the harpoons on the ship or whatever to like pull the ships in and then like board that way, or do something where you can like swing from the mast and land on their ship and start fighting. I think that would be such a cool feature to add just in general. And hopefully, they might add something like that with this new update coming out, which I think comes out Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, June 22nd. But yeah, I think it would just be such a fun like new feature to add to the game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Also, just to preface, the reason why Richard is not here is he's having some internet issues.
They had
and I also want to
outage in his area, so no estimated time of return. But it's alright. We will continue without him. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, you're good. And also, I noticed this the last podcast, and it's probably going to happen on this one because I've already noticed it kind of like glitch a little bit. There's a spot in the podcast where it kind of like started to lag during the stream. I apologize. My internet is not the greatest. It just comes in peaks and waves, and it's a funny story. We actually had an outage yesterday, for a good portion of the morning. So yeah, if the audio and everything if you guys are listening to it, if the audio starts to cut out and everything, I do apologize in advance. It's something that we gotta bear with for now. And I am working on getting. Once I move, my internet might be better. I don't know. So it's kind of like a wait and see thing. So
same. Well, you'll be moving to a central hub, so yeah, it should be better.
My first man rode a
yeah, and it's included with our rent, so that's cool.
My last one did too.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
None of them flew one.
Yeah, if it's good internet. If it's dookie, I'm just gonna be like, well.
Looks like I'm paying for internet twice. So, another game that I was excited for, at least me personally, because I'm a huge car guy and I love racing games and shit. The new Forza Horizon 5 is 5. Oh my god, I can't talk. The new Forza Horizon 5 is supposed to drop November 9th of 2021. Which is right after my birthday. So, hopefully my birthday, I will be able to have a pre-order for the new Forza Horizon 5. And I'll be able to get the biggest pre-order, hopefully, so I can, like, have a bunch of cool cars.
Nice.
The reason why I'm so excited for this one, though, over the previous ones, and why actually I think a lot of non racing game fans are also excited, is because this game is using photogrammetry technology over Mexico City. So they're making it
As realistic as
accurate.
possible.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be their largest open world yet for the
I used to write
franchise.
too, you know. Now I see
Nice.
myself
And I got
in the
news,
bedroom.
I already play Forza Horizon seasons, like the 4 seasons one, Forza Horizon 4 with this, I don't remember what it's called exactly. It's Forza Horizon 4, but it takes me 30 real minutes to drive from one side of the map to the other.
Damn.
Like corner to corner.
Okay.
Like this map is
I haven't played a
huge.
car game in forever.
This map is fucking massive. And I will say Forza Horizon 4 already kind of had that do you remember those old arcade games that we would play at the movie theater or at GameWorks or Dave and Buster's and shit like that? They were like the Fast and Furious games that you would sit down at, and it was
Had an actual wheel
yeah,
pedal
and
set.
you did your car did backflips and 360s and barrel rolls and all sorts of shit like that. Then there was the
Whether intentional or not.
yeah, and the Cruisin' World arcade games too. I played both of those a lot when I was a kid. They're just fun. But the Forza Horizon 5 has that Hot Wheels style vibe to it with some of the new mini games and shit. And it's all AI assisted mini games to just push more content to the player.
Why do I always get mixed up with
Okay.
Jailbird?
Um,
Probably 'cause the state
And
of
I saw there was
my
a
hands
drift
months
bowling
ago.
thing
Funny.
and a stunts ramp and a bunch of other cool shit. So you're basically just
Okay.
trying to rack up points. It just seemed like a more of a cartoony, Hot Wheelsy, fun spin on a video game or on a car game.
So it's kind of like that one car game that I played the demo of. I can't remember what it's called.
Trackmania.
Yeah,
Trackmania
so
Nations.
it's kind of like that, but with
Yeah.
Forza on the name, or in the name, I should say.
Yes and no, because Trackmania, in the sense of you're doing that kind of shit with your car in Trackmania, yes.
Drink to have a
Yeah.
good
But in the
time,
sense of it's
but
still a
it sure
Forza
helps you
game.
forget the bad ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying with the added mini
mental
game
illness.
aspect. 'Cause they
Yeah.
I know you said they have drift bowling and stunt ramps and everything, so it's just kind of it's Forza but with Trackmania.
Yeah,
added.
and it's also supposed to have more cars than any of the other previous games, which, I mean, that's a given for any car game that's in a franchise. You're always going to have to add cars, you can't take them away. But, I don't know, I'm just really excited for it. I love car games, and I love, the Dirt series and the
I haven't
Dirt
had
Rally
enough to run
2.0,
down
I
and
play
out
that a
battery
lot.
acid thinking it was paint thinner. Still might be tripping
So,
for
of
all
course,
I know.
all those, more of the racing simulator games, too.
Right.
I don't know, I'm
was-
just
I
really
think-
excited for them.
One of the Dirt games for the 360 is the last actual car game I played, and actually was able to borrow an actual pedal and steering wheel
Nice.
setup.
Oh, so, I will say this now, just real quietly and I'll probably not put much attention half, but I will end up with a racing simulator setup, so I'm gonna end up with
Oh,
a
nice.
nice pedals, nice force feedback steering wheel,
You all got an organ
and then I'm
donor
gonna
card?
get the
Nice.
6-axis
Get one. And
motion
tick all them
seat,
boxes,
so
except
I'll
for
be able to
liver and lungs.
my seat will
won't get much
slide to the
use out
right
of
and
that.
left when I drift, and if I go downhill it'll tilt forward, if I go up it'll tilt back. right and left
Oh,
roll,
sweet.
pitch and yaw, all that shit. So it'll be really cool. And then I'll have like a nice H pattern / sequential gear shift. And then I might even do what is it called? The wraparound screens, like the giant. I can get 3 of the curved LCD monitors,
yeah.
and I'll wrap them completely. Like, it's not
Give you,
quite
like,
100.
full
It's
peripheral
not
view.
quite 180
My
degrees
first
of
rode a chopper.
view, but it's pretty close
And I
to it.
suppose my
Yeah.
last one will.
And then I'll
Basically
just
what you'd see
string
like
them
sitting in
together.
a car, essentially.
And you can get the ones without the what's it called? The edge of the TV.
Yeah, like the frame of the
Yeah,
screen
the frame.
or whatever.
The frame. That's what I was looking for. But I'll just get 3 of those and just press them together real close and go from there.
Nice. I have a question, because again, I don't really play car games that much.
Yeah.
Does Forza and all that kind of have the issue of like what a lot of sports games have, where it's just basically like, it sounds like from what you've explained, it doesn't really, but like for example, like the new Madden game, Madden 22, I think it's Madden 22. My friend is a diehard Madden fan. I don't see like the allure in it. Like it's just literally every Madden game is just a copy and paste
For the most part,
Like-
but they're not.
game with just like some re-textured assets.
Well, no, there is
Uh.
some different aspects because you have updated playbooks and you have updated team rosters and you have different coaches that have different skill sets and give your team certain advantages and disadvantages, essentially. And you have to look at it from a RPG player's perspective. All of these things have stats. We just can't see them because they're human beings. So where we see our strength, defense, stamina, and perception, we don't get those exact numbers through the NFL games because you don't get them in real life. So you have to kind of figure out and play each team and figure out and like what each player is capable of, and you have to learn what their stats are that we can have,
Yeah.
and you have to just kind of go from there.
Well, I just know, I think it was Madden
Sometimes I think
Is that either 20 or 21 that I know there's a huge uproar with like a lot of those people, because we were talking about it in a Discord call a couple days ago, or whenever fucking 22 was announced or was getting announced, that they're in one of the previous, like one of the most recent titles, like I said, I don't remember if it was 20 or 21, they literally had like the previous year's like branding stuff like still on areas of the game, and it was just like, I think a lot of people were getting mad because it's like they're literally just they're just copying and pasting stuff into the game, and it's like they always like hype up these games, and it feels like there's just like such a minuscule amount of new stuff they throw in the game. It's not alluring to a lot of people.
And video game companies will realize over time that like you have to put new content in, and you aren't owed your fan base.
Yeah.
Like, just because you made
that.
some good games does not mean you're gonna keep the same fan base, unless you're Halo.
Oh yeah.
Then you can
God,
make
I'm
any
so
kind
ready
of game
for
that
Halo
you want.
Infinite, man.
You can make any
Well,
kind
'cause,
of
like, even,
bullshit
like-
game you want, and then everybody's still obsessed
Even
with
with the Halo games, like they bring new stuff in. Like Halo 4
But it sure helps you forget the bad
was like the
ones.
first game to bring in like an actual sprint that you don't have to worry about having a power up for. It brought in like a deeper armor customization depth. Totally retooled the entire like face of the game, essentially how like what Master Chief looks like and just all that. And then like Halo 5 brought in like the boosts, the ground pound attack and everything, and the mantling. So they add stuff to it. Yeah, it's the same like formula essentially, but they actually like add noticeable changes and stuff to the game, which I think is such a good thing to like to actually be able to see and like feel.
Still might be tripping for all
Except
I know.
I'm not happy with them making SWAT a ranked playlist in Halo 5. I want to be able to grind out casual SWAT and not have to worry about placement matches and getting sweats. Because I have had games where I'm not even placed yet and I'm getting put with like diamond and platinum tier dudes, and I'm getting put on teams with like copper. I'm just like, what is happening?
I feel that. So another game that I'm also excited for is I know we've talked about recently playing Borderlands again and getting back into that with all of us, and maybe doing
Are you talking about
Tiny Tina's
Bring up a
Wonderland.
donor card?
Yes. So I haven't had a chance to research this one because I literally like just found out about it yesterday while I was at work.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I know Butt Stallion's coming back.
yeah, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So for those of you guys who don't know, Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a Borderlands spin-off game. It's kind of more of like a fantasy world, open world, like kind of like a player building experience, I guess, is a good way to
Kind of like
explain it.
their D&D DLC that they had
Yeah.
for Borderlands 2, I think.
Yeah, kind of like that. So it's more of like a fantasy RPG experience. But it's gonna have like
My first man rode a chopper.
it has to
And I
have
suppose my
an
last
entirely
one will
comedy
too.
focus because they've got Will
Not a
Arnett
clue.
and Andy Samberg.
Oh, yeah, and of
Voicing.
course Ashley Birch
And-
voicing Tiny Tina
Yeah,
again.
and Ashley Birch voicing Tiny Tina again, of course. So it's like this has to be one of the funniest DLCs they've made.
Is it a DLC? Is there an actual like standalone?
Well, no, you're right. It's not a DLC. It's a spinoff.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, it's a standalone. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
And supposedly it's gonna be like no other game we've played before. So I'm not really sure if it's. I really don't know what to expect because they said that it's not going to be like
We
any
had
of the
so many
Borderlands
biker gangs,
franchise that
biker
we've
chapters, motorcycle clubs
experienced.
around these parts, I can't keep up.
Hmm.
Y'all look
And that's
the same
kind of
to
all
me.
they really said on it. So they've kind of just left us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, Borderlands is one of those games that I'll definitely get. Anything that is Borderlands related, I'll get.
Oh yeah, always.
It's a good series. I love the art style on it. I sort of started playing Borderlands 3 a couple nights ago, having a blast.
It's a much more extreme comic book art style than the other
Oh, yeah.
two. For sure. It is way
I
more
used to
comic
ride too,
booky
you
than
know.
the other two were. But I'm
Now I
kind of
use
here
my
for it.
cowgirl for the bedroom.
Oh yeah, I love that cell shading that they do. That's why I love the first one, just because it was like it had like that cartoony comic booky like look to it, but it had like intense action. Like it. I think that's why, because it's a
It has
perfectly
3 balls.
yeah, because like it's one of those games that it's a perfectly balanced game in a sense of you have like your comedy, but you have your action, you have, like it's earned its M rating because it has like the blood and gore, but it also has like just those
sometimes I
far
think I
out
would
jokes that
But if I did, I'd
you're
probably
just
be
like,
sitting
holy
in
crap,
bars drinking
was not
beer
expecting
anyway.
this in a video
May as
game.
well get paid for it.
And so it's just yeah, any style game, even like the Telltale game, which I'm not a huge Telltale game fan, just because I love the Borderlands game that they did, just because it had that same style of just like over the top stupid humor, but it also like had its moments too where like, holy crap, like this character is gonna like something's gonna happen to this character. So it's yeah, I'll definitely be getting it. It's I'm probably gonna do what I did with Borderlands like 3 and everything, where I don't really read into it because I want to go into it like fully experiencing it all for the first time and not like have like anything possibly spoiled, or if I'm like looking for something that they show in the trailer that's not going to be there. So it's one of those games that I'm definitely keeping an eye out on, but I'm going to try not to read a whole lot into. So
Yeah, speaking of not reading into anything, did you watch the Outer Worlds 2 trailer yet? If not, click on the hyperlink because it's fucking hysterical. They literally don't show us anything, and they make fun of the fact that that's what all game companies do when they release these stupid announcement trailers, is they don't show you anything about the game. Because all they've got is the title.
Yeah, because I remember them pointing that out and just making fun of it.
Because he said that because the developers don't even have a game yet. Actually, all they really have is the title.
That's the way to do it right there.
I thought it was
Go
so
in,
funny.
just announce your game.
If you guys
Don't say anything,
played
and
Outer
then
Worlds, I highly suggest watching the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. It's just funny. You'll get a kick out of it, and it's I'm excited for it because it's just, I mean, it was an Obsidian as fuck RPG game. Like, we need more of
I ever
that.
tell you about the time I downed an ounce of battery acid thinking it was paint thinner?
I
You know,
think
I'd
it
be
was
dripping
just something
dry
that
out.
a lot of people really enjoyed, and I think it blew up as soon as it released, and it's still got a really, really strong fan base. I see a lot of YouTube videos on it all the time still.
I haven't played it yet.
It's really interesting.
I've heard it's essentially like Fallout in space,
Yes,
like Fallout New Vegas in space.
yeah, very much so.
Which is cool because I love Fallout and I love space. I'm sold.
Yeah. Did you see Starfield?
You all got an
I
organ donor
did.
card? You should get one.
Dude,
And tick all them boxes, except for liver.
a
and lung.
Bethesda RPG.
They won't get much use out of them.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Skyrim in space. Which
so
is what
excited.
I've heard for that one. It's,
So,
uh,
I've heard it's more, well, it's less Star Wars, more Interstellar.
gotcha.
So I'm like all here for it because I love that. I don't know. Most of the
Just
Yes.
watch you guys take a header into the table. All right.
yes.
As you
I
can see,
woke
this
up in
is a
the
very
toilet.
lively podcast today.
First man rode a chopper. And I suppose my last
We had
one will too.
technical difficulties
None of them flew.
and that. Yeah.
I didn't know that would happen, but all right. Moving on.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for
Look who it is.
that coming out.
It's just,
One of the games though that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. I was gonna say that it's just it's been such a long time since we've had a Bethesda RPG that was actually worth a fuck. Like, I'm sorry, but
Oh yeah.
the fucking what was it called? It was their MMO, Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I was gonna say ESO.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online. Like, that was their last real good attempt at an a decent RPG that was like huge, and it was ass.
I didn't mind ESO.
I
I thought it was
did
fun.
not
Like,
like it.
the gameplay, not necessarily, but I love the concept.
Yeah, concept was great.
Because I do think that a company like Bethesda can make a successful like MMORPG. Fallout 76. I'm not looking at you.
'Cause,
You've gotten better.
you've
It's
made it
gotten
funny.
better.
You've made it funny.
I will give Fallout 76 credit. It has come a long
It
way
has.
since launch.
But it's still
Um,
booty.
Yeah, it's one of those games that like I can hop on there and play for a little bit,
Yeah,
but
But that's
it's
it.
typical Bethesda, and you just run into something that just ruins the entire like flow and immersion of the game. Like I was in Power Armor the other day, or not the other day, the other day, aka like 6 months ago when I played last. And I was running up some stairs, and all of a sudden, my character just kind of stops and is like doing like the falling animation where their arms kind of go up.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I go into third person, and literally I'm in between 2 steps on a fire escape, and my character is just stuck in a falling animation. Couldn't fast travel, couldn't do anything, couldn't leave my power armor suit. So I literally had to exit out and come back in, which when you get disconnected from that game, it kind of it rolls you back a little bit.
Yep.
And luckily it wasn't a huge rollback, but it was still
Enough to
a
piss you off.
rollback, so it's yeah. And so I'm like, all right, cool, like there's something up there that I wanted to go get. Dare I try again? And so I was just like, nope. I'll come back later. I got to the building I was looking at, and I was like, I can get to this fire escape, and I've seen people up there. Like, I'm like, it's obviously accessible. And I've seen people run up the fire escape. I'm like, maybe I went back later on and tried it in Power Armor, and it worked. Because I've seen people, but it's one of those things though that, especially when the game first came out, it was such a grind, and with the environment that it was set up with no NPCs, the only interaction you get from other humans would be other players, was just so. It wasn't Fallout to me. Fallout to me is like having NPCs wandering around, like wandering caravans, raiders, all that kind of stuff, which made it such an immersive game. And they got to that point now, but it was so just badly done when it came out. And I get like they tied in a story to it now, but at the same time, it's just like it was just fetch quests and talking to robots.
Yeah.
It gets old. It gets old after like 2 quests.
That and mental illness.
And the quests in that game still to this day tick me off, because it's like, all right, cool, we're gonna need you to go grab this, and it's all the way down in like Cranberry Bog, which I hate Cranberry Bog. And all the enemies down there are like 18 levels higher than me.
Yeah.
Which now I think the game scales to like your player level, which is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I know they got a couple more updates coming out for 76, so I'm hoping I might dive back into it. It's just it's one of those games. It's a very strong love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
More on the side of necessarily hating.
I feel
but
that. That's actually kind of
it's
where
just-
I'm at now with Second Extinction, because like it's a great game, great concept. I really enjoy playing it. But if
I
you
can never play it.
but if you put more than one person in that fucking game, it becomes almost unplayable. Like when you have a horde of raptors and shit and a bunch of fucking other dinosaurs coming at you, like, your game just gets so unbearably laggy, even without streaming.
You all got
So it's
an
like, I
Ark
want to play it,
Yeah.
but
You should
I
get
can't.
Use all them boxes.
I want to
They're
play it too,
delivered
but I can never
Don't get
actually
much
like
use
log
out of
in.
them.
I think you need to
I would,
reinstall it.
I have. I've done it multiple times,
Hmm.
and each time I get hit with the same issue. Like I get to like a, because it does like that whole like little beginning cutscene where like it does like the news report or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can't like my UI just craps
Freezes
out
up.
on me. I can't do anything. Yeah.
Mm.
And I've closed out the game, reopened it, and run into the same issue. So I was like, cool, I'll uninstall and reinstall. Uninstalled, reinstalled, same issue. So I was like, I can't.
Mm.
That is, I get it's a game preview, but it's like, come on.
First man wrote a chopper.
Yeah,
And I suppose my last one will too.
I don't know.
Not
There's
the
a.
blue one.
It just seems like a lot of the games that we typically play end up just fucked.
Yeah. Well, because I think like what we do, is I think like we dive in and we just go hard at it for a point in time where we just kind of inadvertently burn ourselves out,
Yeah.
or it just gets to like a point where like we play it and then we're like, all right, like I'm gonna go play a different game because I don't want to get burned out, and then we come back and it's like I just have like no motivation to play right now.
Yeah.
Like with Conan and stuff, like
We had so many
it's frustrating for
gangs,
me,
biker
like
chapters, motorcycle
going into that
clubs around
game,
these parts, I can't keep up.
like,
Y'all look
and
the same
coming
to
to
me.
find out that like half our ceiling has just up and vanished, and it's just you're like, crap, now I have to
Redo everything.
like, yeah, redo everything. And I'm one of those people that like, I don't want to like, if that's the first thing I see, I want to fix that, and before I do anything else, I'm just like, God, I don't want to go grind out like all the material and everything and have to rebuild it all.
Yep.
Cause like, especially with Conan, it's a game I've noticed that you can have a certain building pattern set up and it'll work, but then as soon as like something happens where a piece of that gets destroyed, you can't just rebuild it half the time. You have to like do a whole new layout, and it's such a pain. It's just
Yep.
ugh.
Yeah, and that's why one of the biggest reasons why I stopped playing Ark is that game just something always goes wrong.
Yeah.
That game just
Yeah.
takes so much time and so much effort just to take something that you spent all that time and effort getting away from you.
All right, and it's like with Ark especially, like we've all had issues where, if it's a creature that we've tamed up, and like, because it's weird, like gamers, you'll definitely understand. If you have like a creature or like a certain item in a game that you've worked hard to get, you get attached to it, and then if you take said item out, and then say you get disconnected because of some random stuff, Ark, and all of a sudden like you come back, and especially in Ark, your creatures, like if you're fighting something and you get disconnected, your creatures will still fight, and they have the total risk of dying. And Ark is notorious. We've all had issues where we're in the middle of something like that, and then we get disconnected, come back, and we find out that our creature was killed because we couldn't get it out of like the area in time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very, just stuff like that is very, it takes all the wind out of your sails, and it makes you lose motivation. Like, yeah, it's a total real possibility of the game, but at the same time, it's just like, I feel like, especially if the game has been out as long as like those types of games have, there are like, yeah, like, because my whole situation with Conan on the PS4 and why I stopped playing it. And it's one of those things that like, the developers can tweak something, and it can make or break your entire play experience. And unfortunately, my play experience on the PS4 version of Conan was broken because the developers decided to tweak something. And I come back like a day later after playing the night before, and my stuff's gone. Like all of my stuff, all my tames, thralls, like my base that I built, all that just Thanos snapped out of existence. So it killed the entire like play experience for me. Like I had good memories up until that point, and then I'm just like, I don't want to go and have to re-grind all of this just to rebuild it all.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a pain.
Yep.
So,
I do that.
but which I mean, I love those types of games, but it's just it's a very slippery slope. Speaking of slippery slopes, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. That's another Square Enix game that's coming out.
Yes, sir.
And the Square Enix made the Avengers game, what was it, last year? I think is when it came out.
Let's not talk about that game because it was really lackluster and buggy.
Great
and
potential.
They botched
Very
it.
cool concept.
Great concept. They did everything they could to make that game cool, but they just didn't have the time or funding or apparently planning.
Yeah. My biggest thing with that game, like, it's superheroes. I love Marvel. I love DC. So I got it.
Same.
Had a lot of fun up until this one point where I got to this part in the game where, and I had no issues with anything like that previously, because like it's so cool like having a huge, like, especially playing as someone like Hulk or whatever, and you just have like waves of enemies coming, and you're just like smashing through all of them.
Yeah.
And just everything. I got to a point though where I had just gotten one of the characters back, and we were doing a mission, had no issues up until I got into this one area where I destroy like I think 4 like server things, and there's just so many enemies on screen, my frame rate would drop drastically.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I was literally like, I'd be like, I was smooth fighting all the way up until then, but I think it's because it was just such a confined space, and there was just so many enemies. Like, I would start off fine, and then you could slowly see it, and it was eventually like,
Yeah.
and then my character would just be like down on the ground. I'm like, okay, cool. Get revived, and then it would just immediately start happening again. Like the whole revive process would be smooth, but then it would just, as soon as the combat started again, it was just constant like frame rate drops, and it got to the point for me where I couldn't play the game anymore. I couldn't get past that mission.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things like you can't quit the mission and everything. Like you can, but
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to get through this.
I thought
but-
the game was it was too small. I mean,
I
I played it all the way through, and I beat it. It wasn't that big of a game.
Look the same to me.
2, they didn't do the character development like they should have. And what I mean by that is like, I don't mean character development in a traditional sense. I mean it more of like your upgrade tree.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man had a couple of weapons and that was it. Thor had a couple of moves, that was it. Iron Man or Captain America had a couple of moves and that was it. That was the whole game. It was just very repetitive. The whole game, everything you did was over and over and over again.
Yeah, like it was.
I used to ride
Again, it had a very cool concept. It was just poorly executed.
Yeah.
I just hit my mic.
You're good.
Audio listeners, if you hear like a no, but it was a very cool concept. I love the whole like aspect of getting like loot for your character that like gave you different attributes and everything. Just poorly executed. And it's Square Enix. They've done those types of games before.
They had
Like-
to rush that game.
That's why I'm scared, and I know a lot of people are not happy with Guardians of the Galaxy because everyone has bad memories of the Avengers game. The Deus Ex fans are mad because I guess they're taking funding from the new Deus Ex to put onto Guardians of the Galaxy is what I've heard.
May as well get paid for it.
I kind of understand. Deus Ex is kind of a dying franchise.
Yeah,
Not
but
very many
I mean,
people
like,
play it anymore.
I just don't like the fact that like one fan base is having to suffer
I
for
do
another.
agree with that, yes.
But
But you got to remember they're a Fortune 500 company that they've got to
Yeah.
pick and choose their battles, and they've got to split funding where they can.
mean, yeah, but just especially like after I won't necessarily call it a dumpster fire, but just the train wreck that was the Avengers game.
Dumpster fire.
Tell me, why do I always
It
get
was a
mixed up
recycle
with
bin.
jail
It was a
work?
garbage bin fire.
Because the state don't wanna wash my hands.
I won't necessarily call it like a dumpster fire because they did have some cool stuff. Like the story overall was pretty decent. I liked like the twist on the characters.
I did
and
like the
stuff.
story, and I did like the...
From what I got to play, I haven't been able to beat the game
Okay.
yet because I got the frame rate issues, and then
Yeah.
also I'm letting a buddy borrow it right now.
Okay. I bought the digital
But,
copy.
ah,
I actually bought it at a huge discount. I don't know what I had won something on the like the Xbox rewards thing when you're
oh, yeah.
yeah, but I got a discount for
You don't gotta drink to have
a
good
bunch of
time.
different games that I could
It sure
choose
helps
from,
you
but I could only
forget
get
the bad
one.
ones.
So I ended up buying
Yeah.
the game for like
Mental
$10.
illness.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I found Borderlands 3 at GameStop for $8.99, but that was still like I think $40-something dollars at GameStop.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ew. Because like I have been tempted to pick it up again. I don't know, because I've heard they've released patches that have made the game
They've
tolerable.
released patches, but they haven't changed anything.
Yeah,
They
like,
fixed the broken shit, but they've not
Yeah,
changed
I mean,
the game.
I'd
And-
much rather just be able to do a playthrough on it, just to say I've played it,
I haven't
and
told
not
you
run
about
into
the time I
issues.
downed an
But
ounce of battery acid
I feel like,
dinner. Still might be
kind of going back to what you
different
said
for all
too,
I know.
like there's just so many issues wrong with it. The character like skills and everything they had just felt so half baked, man. Like so half done.
Yeah.
Like you have these heroes that can do
They
all
are
these like awesome
super
moves.
heroes, not average Joe
And-
heroes. These are people that are like, they're gods.
Yeah.
So make
Like-
it feel like I'm a god.
I
don't
will
know.
say Hulk's like thunderclap that he does.
Oh, yeah.
Is such a fun move to use.
Hulk is kind of the only one that I thought felt okay. But
Yeah, but like
he could only
Iron
do
Man.
every fucking attack that he did was on a
Take all
loop.
them boxes, except for liver
Yeah.
and lung.
He did
Won't
4
get much
chained
use out of that.
movements and then recycled. That was it.
mhm.
And then you would do your special and then 4 chains and then special and then 4 chains. That was it.
Well, like what I didn't like was the fact that you get to these. I felt like as you progress in the story, like the difficulty got like it got tougher. Like you faced tougher enemies.
Oh, yeah,
which is
it definitely
cool. I
got
love
harder.
that. But the fact that like when you first get your hands on a character and you're having to fight these like super just beefed up enemies, you're like, holy crap, I feel like I'm hitting you with a napkin right now.
Yeah.
And they hit you with a Mack truck. Like Black Widow,
And I suppose
perfect
my
example.
last
Even like Captain America too.
I'm sorry, even the
Captain
first
America.
real boss when you're fighting
Abomination or whatever.
no, the White Wolf or whatever his name is. The dude that has like the
Oh, Taskmaster.
yeah, Taskmaster.
I thought that was a cool boss fight.
It was a
'Cause
cool
you
boss
had
fight,
to like
but
mix stuff up.
I'm sorry,
but-
you got your if you got hit it hurt. Like, you got your shit
Yeah,
clapped.
like
So I will say
Yeah.
it made the game fun in the aspect that it was always a challenge to kill an enemy. But like, how do you
you get these
change
characters
your fighting
that
style
you'd-
when you
Yeah.
can't change your fighting
Yeah, so many
style?
biker gangs,
Exactly, like-
motorcycle clubs around
like-
these parts, I can't keep up.
even
all look
like
the same
I
to me.
think it was Thor, Black Widow, and Captain America. The first like enemies you fight are OP for
Yeah.
just being able to start out. Like Black Widow, you do the whole mission with her, and it's fairly like it's got a challenge, but then you start facing like the like super adaptoids or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap, like I haven't had a chance to like really level up this character at all. This is like the first time I've been able to do anything with her. And you have an immediate boss fight with her, and that boss fight was difficult. Captain America, you get into like when you get him on the space station or whatever, you have to fight
Now I save my
like
pals
a
for
hard
the
enemy without like your hand, like one hand tied behind your back, because you don't have I don't think you have you don't have a shield at all.
Mm-mm.
So you're literally just having to use like hand-to-hand combat, and Captain America's movesets rely heavily on his shield.
Yeah, they're entirely based
So
on
you're
that
literally
shield.
like fighting with your one hand behind your back, and this enemy is like one of the ones that you have to vary up like your combos each time because they can block them and do all this stuff. And I found myself getting rocked hard on just that part alone. It's like I have Iron Man here, but of course it's a typical video game where it's like, cover me while I open this door for like X amount of time, just for enough for you to like fight X amount of enemies. And it's like, I'm sorry, Tony Stark
Sometimes I think about retiring.
can literally
But if
get
I
out
did,
of
I'd
his
probably
suit,
be sitting
have an
in
AI
bars
pilot
drinking
his
beer
suit.
and
Why the hell could he have
and
done
we'll
that
get
then?
paid for it.
Yeah.
They pushed so hard on like you could do awesome like team combo moves. Couldn't do it then.
Yeah.
Barely could do it in a lot of combat scenarios, and I feel like the ones you do, you miss sometimes, and it was just, or if you do the awesome like move, because I think Captain America and Iron Man had a thing where you could do like shoot the unibeam at the shield and you
Yeah.
could direct it.
Yeah.
It felt like it didn't do anything.
It didn't.
You would hit people and it would just kind of push them back, and then they'd run up and like flick you in the nose, and you'd be like, that.
Yeah. Like I said, it was
It's just,
it was fun that the game was difficult.
Tell me,
yeah.
why do
I
mix it
have
up
no
with
issue with
all
that. Like, I love that, you
The
know, like,
story
you can
was-
tell the training wheels are starting to get taken off.
The game was
But it's just,
fun to play.
Bad pacing.
It was just it's such a bad game.
yeah. And,
Like, it was a fun thing to hear the story, but that's literally all I was playing for, was just to get to the next cutscene to hear the story.
yeah.
I wasn't playing because
Like,
the
if
game
I
was
wanted
difficult.
to do that, I
And
can go onto YouTube and watch a super cut of all
Exactly.
of all the cutscenes. Gameplay was just, it got very repetitive, and again, like, my biggest thing is it got to a point where like you get these characters that you could like go and level them up, but like their character specific missions, you had to like be a certain level to do. And it's like, cool, like I was able to do a Hulk specific mission like right off the bat, and it was pretty like simple, like, whereas like I want to do a Captain America one, it's like, oh, this mission's kind of hard, you know, you might want to level them up first. I'm like, all right, how am I supposed to level them up when I'm at a point where the enemies are like rocking my, like, you know, they're rocking me like back and forth to a point where I can't really do anything, and then frame rate issues. So anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy, if they learn from the Avengers and make it work, cool. But I know a lot of people have like that same mentality that we have, where it's just like, if the Avengers was this bad, how bad
you know,
is this game gonna be?
I just went to look up how long the campaign was for the Avengers, and I was gonna say that at this point it's expected that games have like 20 to 30 hours of content, if not more.
Yeah.
And it says that the campaign can be finished in about 12 hours, and with all of the side missions, it brings the total length up to about 30 hours or more. That's not horrible, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Got an organ
I
donor
definitely
card?
completed the fucking
You should
campaign
get
in
one.
less than 12 hours.
Check all them boxes, except for
Oh,
the
yeah.
one
Because I've only got like
They won't get much use
fucking
out of them.
14 hours in game, and I have done quite a few side missions.
Oh yeah, like I'm one of those people that I love to mix up doing side quests with the main quest, just to, you know, like not necessarily blow through one or the other, but it also like extends the length of the game. And I feel like I did a lot of side quests on top of story quests, and you can kind of tell the game is like getting to like that final point, and you're just like, God, I've only put like a handful of hours in. Like I think my total in-game time
And I
is
suppose my last one will.
around where you about where you are. And
13 or
it's
so,
just-
14 hours, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Cause like I didn't have a lot of time to play. Like I put in a lot of time when I first got it, and I took a huge chunk out of the story then.
Like, I'm sorry, Red Dead Redemption 2, that game took me like 2 weeks of playing every day. There's over fucking 200 hours of content if you do every side mission.
Oh yeah, and going back to like Skyrim and everything too. Skyrim is the same way. Like
Skyrim, I don't know
Doing-
if that has an actual estimated number of hours of content because it's so big.
I don't think so.
Like,
Like
I know it's like a
because I know
couple
you can
hundred.
find side quests just by like finding notes. You can
Yeah.
do side quests by talking to people, and just exploring in itself adds so much. I love the whole open
Walking
world
into
concept
areas
of the
that
maps.
you've never been in before pop up
Yeah.
random events.
Same with like The Witcher and everything too. Witcher's another one. You go to a place and you find all these side quests and stuff, and like even just exploring the map, same thing. Going to a new area. I loved the open world aspect of Avengers, and I from what I've seen, it doesn't look like there's a lot of like stuff to do in those open world environments.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that they're gonna learn from a lot of their mistakes, and I think they're going to release a better polished game than Avengers was on release.
Yeah.
However, how different it will be, I don't know.
I've heard because
they
Avengers
they did have their little cult following of people that were like, "Fuck everybody else, this game is amazing."
yeah.
But I'm just hoping they listen to a lot of other people, because it can still be a great game if they change just a few things.
Oh yeah. And I love the co-op aspect of Avengers.
Sometimes
I think it could. I've heard the new Guardians of the Galaxy game is just going to be solo.
Yeah, it's gonna be single player only.
Get paid for it.
Wait,
I
was
think-
Avengers a multiplayer?
Yeah, you could do online.
I did not know that.
I think you get up to like 4 people, I think.
I'd be down to restart and play with you and do a series on that.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been tempted because like that's like the only thing that like kind of is drawing me back is like maybe, just maybe, if I get on with like a friend or something like that, it might be different.
That's what I'm
Um,
thinking now. Now that I know it's multiplayer, it might be a better experience for me.
I definitely think they should release it. Release Guardians of the Galaxy as a single player game. See how well it does. And then if it's got good enough traction, if it's got positive reviews, I could totally see them initial or implementing like a 4-player co-op at it. Up the difficulty, do stuff like that, make new areas to explore. Cause I feel like those superhero like type games, like even like the Ultimate Alliance games, so much fun,
I
very
did not like any
so
of the
much
Ultimate
potential.
Alliance games. I've been playing them since they first came out, and I've played them. Any of them, but not them. I just don't like.
It's better to play with friends and everything.
You don't have to drink to have a good
See, but I've
Because-
also never done
But
that.
it sure helps you forget the bad ones.
Yeah, like I played through the first actually I played through the first one and the one on the Nintendo Switch. 100% solo. I love the Nintendo Switch one just for the aspect of you had like your team had like a synergy type deal with it, like, you know, you got bonuses for playing with like certain characters. Like if you play with like Spider-Man and all of his characters, you get like a bonus for them. And then their ultimate moves you could chain, and like if you had people that were like compatible with each other, you could chain their ultimate moves together. It was so much fun. Again though, it just, what kills me is AI. AI was like the big killer in the first one for me, because like you'd be fighting and like your AI teammates would go fighting something else, and it's like, no, I need you over here, and it's just like, God. So I definitely think those types of games 100% better to play with another person or more. Again, Avengers I think would be the same way, just because you're not having to worry about your AI doing something stupid, and you can actually coordinate more.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Which is a totally different. It makes that a whole new game. Just by adding another human element instead of just relying on your computer teammates to do stuff. Because I feel like a lot of battles in Avengers would have gone so much better if my AI teammates used their power moves when they had them.
Yeah.
It's just like, God, I can't be doing this.
That's why I think that it might. I'm gonna give it a chance again with the multiplayer. How we doing on time?
We are an hour and a half in.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody.
Which, I mean, I'm down to keep going, honestly. Like, I'm
Well,
having fun. Not like super, like, not much longer, but.
I gotta make a phone call here soon, so I think we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Right.
But anyhow, thanks everybody for coming out again. Please check out our new series on the Arctic Wolves Twitch channel that we're gonna be doing for the Civilization 6. As soon as I get my editing software back up and my computer set up again, then we'll go ahead and start uploading back up to YouTube. However, for now, it's going to be primarily on Twitch, and the podcasts are going to be on that's Twitch and his YouTube handle as a backup.
Wolves Den Podcast.
Yeah, as a backup. And then we will go ahead and upload those to the Arctic Wolves channel once I get my computer back up and running. But
Your Twitch is Arctic, ARKTIC
underscore
Wolf, right?
wolf. Yes.
Gotcha, okay.
That's ARKTIC underscore WOLF.
Motorcycle clubs around these parts, I can't
Gotcha.
And that's kind of like, yeah, it's my Twitch channel, but it's the whole YouTube channel's Twitch channel, if that makes sense. I'm the one running it, but it's everybody can log into it and upload to that one if they would like, or stream from that one if they would like.
Yeah, I got I linked Richard's channel and the Arctic Wolf channel in my chat. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna wrap up the episode here, guys. Thank you all very much for coming by and watching. We had I feel like this episode went well, minus,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
yeah, minus the
with
fact
all
that we
the
lost
stuff that
Richard.
we hit. Like I said, we are planning on doing an episode every week. Times and everything may vary, just because everyone, you know, trying to get all of our schedules to line up when we have free time. But I am completing, I think, my first thing of school on Monday. I think it wraps up, so I should have a month off. So I definitely will have more like, if work allows me to have time and stops dicking with me. Anyway, so I will be having more time opening up for at least a solid month before, at least a good chunk before I move.
But if I did, I'd probably be sitting
And
in bars
then,
drinking beer anyway.
yeah, we will be
And we'll
getting
get
hopefully a
paid
little
for
bit
it.
more of a set area of when we do it.
Yeah. Once we all,
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
like, we're in a weird transitioning period at the moment. A couple of us are about to move, and I'm about to have my kid here next week. And then I'm going to be moving hopefully in a few months after that. And then once that happens, I'll be in my own apartment, and then I should have my computer and everything permanently set up, and I won't have to worry about this kind of shit anymore.
Hell yeah.
And then tree outs should be more prevalent because he's trying to get internet out where he lives. However, the internet company does not cover his house, so he's trying to figure out other options. And right now, he's just kind of
Such a-
stuck using his hotspot, so streaming is a pain in the ass for him.
Yeah.
And he works a
trying to
lot.
think. Yeah, that's a big thing is work. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all that's really going on. Again, keep an eye out. If you haven't followed the 2 links in the chat, definitely give them a follow.
Yes,
They, like I
please.
said earlier in the chat, they did start their new Civ 6, right?
Yes,
That's
Civilization
that's the
6 series, and
You know,
we're gonna
think to have a good
upload.
time.
Or right now,
But it
those
sure
are gonna
helps
be
you
on
forget
Twitch,
the
and
bad
then we're
ones.
gonna once I get my computer set up again, I'm going to break them up into hour-long episodes, probably. Maybe 30-minute. I don't know.
Nice.
One of the two. And then I'm also going to be making an Arctic Wolves 2 channel once that happens, and I'll be uploading any live streams we do raw straight up to that.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see
The full
all of
7
our-
and 8
'cause
hour
that's-
live streams that we do because we have no lives and we play video games too much.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what the Wolves Den podcast channel is too on YouTube. It's a more raw
Yeah,
podcast.
we want you
Once
guys to
I
see
get-
us.
once
About
I
the time
once I
found
move
the
and I'm
battery
actually
acid
like
thinking it was paint thinner. Still might be
I
tripping for all
I
know.
have a job and everything, I'm making decent money. I do want to try and get not necessarily like a super badass PC, but I want to get like a decent laptop or something that I can do like good editing with, and I might even try and like get like a little bit of a better setup for like podcast wise.
I have
like,
my
streaming and all that.
iPad, but trying to download shit to my iPad, then
Yeah.
open it in the fucking
It's,
filmmaker, then upload it to YouTube from an iPad with no backup storage is 1, scary, and 2, inefficient as fuck.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I can like get an actual like decent rig
You all got an
to
organ
be able
donor
to
card?
edit
You
and
should
get all
one.
that taken care of.
Take all
So
them boxes,
the channel
except for
definitely
liver
will
and lung.
be
They won't get much
evolving
use out
as
of
we
that.
go. But for the time being, we're just gonna have raw podcasts. Which I mean, it's still cool. Like, there's really not a lot to edit it necessarily, like in a sense of just rambling.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. So just keep an eye out for that. Like I said, follow the 2 links in the chat. And they started their new series that they're gonna be doing. Yeah, give them a follow. Definitely check them out. Good guys. I mean, you've heard them on the podcast and everything. Oh, you've heard Matt on the podcast because Richard hasn't been here because of technical issues. But yeah, give them a follow. Support our little community and everything. And we hope you guys stick with us as we grow and take on this new adventure.
Yep, we love y'all. Be good. Have a good day. And remember, go ahead and share the shit out of this stuff so we can grow the wolf pack. Other than that, catch you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Again, thank you all very much for coming out, and we will catch you in the next one. All right, guys. Peace.